Okay, I need to tell you something. And I want you to sit with it for just a second before you scroll past here. What if the thing that's been holding you back from building your own income isn't what you don't know? What if it's that you don't realize how much you already do know? I've sat with so many women in our circle who have decades of experience, who've run classrooms and boardrooms and households, who are genuinely brilliant women. And the one thing that stops almost every single one of them is that they think someone else already has this figured out better than they do. Well, somebody's already doing that. They think that they're behind. They think that they've missed the window. And girl, you didn't miss anything. In fact, the window I'm about to show you was built for you. Welcome to Glimmer and Grace Co. I'm Michelle, and today we're talking about the graceful pivot. This is the shift from doing work that's exhausting to you to building something that earns money for you quietly, beautifully, and on your own terms. Let's get into it. Here's the truth about where most of us start. We've spent years, sometimes decades, in the system that told us our value lived in our output, in how many hours we logged, in how many tasks we completed, and how many essays we graded, and how much that we've produced. So when someone says, build a digital boutique, our first instinct is to panic. We think that it means that we have to produce more, learn more, and become someone completely different. That is a lie that we have to dissolve before anything else. Here's what I've found to be true. The women who build the most beautiful, sustainable digital boutiques don't build them by adding more to their plates. We're not talking more late nights. They build them by finally honoring what they've already accumulated over a lifetime. Think about it this way. You have 20, 30, maybe even 40 years of knowledge sitting inside you, systems that you've developed, problems you've solved, and wisdom that you've gathered the hard way. That is not just your personal story. That is intellectual property. Someone right now is searching for exactly what you know how to do. Let me say that again. I need you to really hear me. Someone is searching right now for exactly what you already know in your head. The graceful pivot isn't about reinventing yourself. It's about presenting yourself finally and fully to the world that has been waiting for you. You don't have to change. I want to tell you about a woman in our circle who has spent most of her career in corporate training. She's developing programs, onboarding teams, and creating systems that were made complex to then be manageable for the average person in her business. When she started thinking about her next chapter, she almost dismissed everything she ever had done. She said to me, Michelle, I feel like everything I know is too basic and everybody already knows this stuff. It's like common knowledge. I want to stop right there because that thought, everyone already knows this stuff, is the one most expensive belief that you can hold. The stuff that really feels basic to you and I feels impossible to someone else. The checklist that you made in 20 minutes, the one that you've been using for 15 years and never thought twice about it, that's someone else's breakthrough. That's their aha moment. When she finally packaged her knowledge, not into a complicated course and not into a 300-page manual, but into a simple, beautiful set of templates and checklists, she created something that people actually wanted. It was useful. It's clean. And it's already done. She did it in a fraction of the time she spent convincing herself that she wasn't actually ready for it. Go figure. What's the one thing that you do that other people always ask you about? What's that question that you answer on repeat, it seems like? What do you explain at dinner tables, in parking lots, and text messages to friends who say, wait, how did you do that? That thing, whatever has just come to mind, that's your digital boutique product. Let's talk about what we're actually building here, because I think the phrase digital boutique can feel overwhelming if you picture some complex tech setup, and that's not at all what this is. A digital boutique is simply a curated collection of digital products that you create once and you sell over and over again. Printable templates, planners, workbooks, checklists, guides. These are things that live as a PDF or a file that someone downloads. They use it and they love it. The beautiful part about this is that once it's made, it doesn't need you to show up again and again. And please don't be worried about the whole AI thing and whatever. You know in your mind what you're talking about. You know the product you're talking about. So people can make products with AI, but when it's coming from you, people see that authentic flavor of a human being behind this stuff and not Claude or ChatGPT or Gemini making products for other people. You're not trading time for money. You're not on a clock and you're not waiting for someone to approve your schedule or approve each step of making a product. You're going to build it, you list it, and it will sell while you're sleeping, while you travel, while you sit on your porch with a cup of tea and a really good book. Maybe you're playing with grandkids, or maybe you're at the gym. This is what I like to call quiet income. I want to be clear that this is not passive income. It does require real thought and real effort to build it. But once it's built, it hums along beautifully in the background of your life. That is the soft life that I'm building and the life that I want to help you build too. Before we go further, I have something for you and I don't want you to miss it. I have put a link in the description box called the Digital Boutique Compass. It's a free resource that helps you figure out exactly where to start and what kind of products to create and what knowledge to package first. Go ahead and grab it. It's your first step in your pivot. It's waiting for you right there in the description box. It's free. You have nothing to lose. Let's talk about how you actually start building. This is where a lot of the women get stuck. They know that they want to create something. They just don't know where to look first. And my answer is always the same. Start with what you already have. I like to call it your digital asset vault. It's not something that's a complicated system. It's just a new way of looking at things that you already have living on your computer, in your Google Drive, or in your brain. Your old templates, your processes, your notes, your guides, that spreadsheet you built for yourself that your friends always borrow, that's an asset. The checklist that you send to every new person on your team is an asset. And the step-by-step process that you use every single week without thinking about it is absolutely an asset. Think of your digital asset vault like a perennial garden where you do the work of planting once. You choose the seeds thoughtfully, you prepare the soil, and then year after year after year, those things continue to bloom. You're not out digging in the heat every single day. You're tending, you're enjoying, you're watching it all grow. That is what a well-built digital boutique feels like. And here's the secret. Utility is the highest form of value. A beautiful, well-designed planner is a gift of time to someone who is already stretched thin. They don't want to keep looking online for something that works right now. A checklist that took you 20 minutes to make could save someone 20 hours of trial and error down the line. You're providing structure for someone else that they can focus on what matters most to them and that it's a service that's absolutely worth your asking price. Let me address this thing I know that's sitting in the back of your mind right now, okay? Because I've felt it too, for sure. Who am I selling this to? What if someone thinks that I'm not worth the price? What if no one buys it? What if someone more qualified is already doing this? This is out there. It's going to happen. You're your own person. Please don't worry about this. Here's the thing I want to say about that. That voice, the one telling you that you're not enough, it's not protecting you, girl. It's costing you money. Every month you sit is 1 month of someone else with less experience than you, less heart, is selling what you could have been offering right now. The truth is, there's no perfect moment. There's no certification that unlocks your world. There's only you, what you know, and the decision to finally offer it. I want you to think about what happens if you don't make that decision. You keep trading time for money in a way that drains you. You keep watching other women build the life that you want. You keep watching my videos instead of getting online, doing the work, and listing your product. You keep saying, someday. Someday is a beautiful word, but it doesn't pay your bills, and it doesn't buy back your time, and it doesn't let you build the legacy that you're already imagining. So let's just stop making someday plans. Let's do it now. I mean, if you need an accountability buddy, leave it in the comments. I will be right here with you. Let's do this. Okay. All right. Now that you've got your product idea, what now? This is where we talk about getting seen. I want to say something that might feel counterintuitive, You don't need to be everywhere and you don't need to go viral. You don't need a massive following to make real money in your digital boutique. What you need is what I call a search engine grace, which means placing your product where people are already going to be looking for them. Platforms like Etsy, PayHip, Pinterest, all search engines where people go with a problem and they're looking for someone to solve it. Your job is to show up there in their search. One of my favorite ways to do this is something that I call the power of 5. Here's how it works for me. Every single product in your digital boutique, I want you to create 5 different Pinterest pin angles. I don't mean 5 pins that have the same image and the same caption, things like that. 5 completely different angles, a different problem, a different person, a different context. Maybe one pin speaks to the woman going through a career transition. Maybe another speaks to the grandmother building her first online business. Maybe one positions your product as the perfect gift, and maybe one is for the woman who wants to feel more organized. Maybe one is for the woman in full rebuild mode who needs structure to hold her vision. 5 angles, 5 doors into the same digital boutique. Here's why it works so well. Pinterest is not social media in the traditional sense because pins live for months and sometimes years, which means a pin you create today could still be driving traffic to your digital shop next spring. That is traffic longevity, and that is what I mean when I say search engine grace. Because you're not chasing attention. You're creating pathways for the right people to find you over and over without having to show up every single day. You're not doing dances on TikTok and trying to make a bunch of reels on Instagram, hoping that they'll go viral. I want you to come back to something that I said at the beginning. I think it's the most important thing that I'm going to say today. The secret to a successful digital boutique is not the product. It's the intention of the woman behind it. When you create from a place of peace and a place of abundance and genuinely wanting to help people, your products carry something different and people feel that. They buy from it and they come back to it and they tell their friends about it. And when you create from panic, from the I just need to make money, desperation, that comes through too. I want you to build from the right place, not from fear of missing out and not from anxiety about money, but from the very real belief that what you know has value and that someone right now needs exactly what you can offer. A woman is sitting somewhere right now searching for exactly what you already know, and you can show up for her beautifully, thoughtfully, and on your own terms. That is the graceful pivot, and that is what we are building here together. If today's video spoke to something in you, I want you to do 3 things right now. First, I want you to go grab the Digital Boutique Compass in the description box because it is your starting point and it's completely free. Second, hit subscribe. We're building something beautiful in this circle. I want you to be part of it. Every single week, I'm here with new content to help you build your digital boutique, find your glimmer, and step into your next chapter with intention. Third, leave me a comment and tell me what you're building. Tell me what's holding you back, or tell me what you want to cover next, because this is a circle. It's not a one-way street. I read every single one of your comments. So remember, ladies, to please find your glimmer today and walk in grace, and I'll see you next time. Bye.